Welcome to Guns Gear Network, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. We bring this video this afternoon about range boxes and what's in mine. So the purpose of the video is kind of show you what I take to the range, and your mileage may vary as far as what you take or don't take, depends on each situation. I do a little instructing, firearms instructing, so what I have sometimes is needed for that purpose, but I also like having enough stuff if I can help somebody out at the range. I might have something in here extra that you might not carry. Also, it's going to depend on what type of range you go to as far as what you need. And what I mean by that is they may require chamber flags, and some ranges don't. If you're going to a private range on some private land, probably don't need chamber flags, but some of them may require it if you're on a private paid type range. I actually have both. I have a large acreage that I own that I can go to, but it's about an hour, a little over an hour from my house. It's about an hour and 15-20 minutes. And then I have a private range that I pay a membership at. Typically we go to the private range just because it is closer and more convenient, and they have the 22 range, pistol bays, tactical range, they got it all. So it's very convenient to go over there, and I just want to make sure when I do decide to go to the range that I've got everything together. Normally what I do is I find some type of box to put everything in, like a tote. Plano came out with these a few years back. I think I bought this at Walmart. A lot of times if they don't have it on a regular item, they'll sometimes have it seasonal around Christmas, so keep an eye out for that. And that's what's in behind here, is that box. So I've got everything taken out of the box. The reason I wanted to do this video, because I was actually doing some more reorganizing, make sure I had everything I needed. And so I thought, well, this would be a good time to show a video about doing range boxes. So I'm going to pick the camera up and kind of go through some things as we go here, and then we'll wrap the video up with everything, and we'll kind of get started here. Alright, so first things first, you're going to need something to shoot at, right? So we're going to need targets. So normally I have my targets in just a big bag. I have a huge assortment of those. I have the kind that marks when you hit it. I've got plain paper targets. I've got stickies to mark my targets. I've got some cardboard targets in here. Got a little everything. So first thing you're going to need is targets. Then you're going to need a way to mark your targets. I usually keep some tape. I usually have a way to hang my targets, which is a staple gun, along with the correct staples that go with it. I keep everything bagged the best I can. Kind of keeps everything organized and separated, so it makes it easier. But I usually have staples. I have these metal clips that I picked up from Dollar Tree. These are the big, huge metal clips. They're actually in their office supply area section. I'll show you those real quick. These right here work well when you're hanging your targets if you need to. They're pretty durable. Then I normally have some type of spray adhesive. This is made by Loctite. 3M makes some also. I usually keep a can of that so I can just spray my target and stick it on if I need to on a piece of cardboard. One thing I'm not going to show you today is my bigger pieces of cardboard that I would have with me. A lot of times I'll at least have 1 or 2 sheets of big cardboard, but it obviously doesn't fit in my box. So, Eye and Ear Pro. I have quite a bit of that. Again, I like to help somebody out. If I see somebody at the range, maybe somebody new, and they don't have the right Ear Pro or Eye Pro, or I'm training somebody or helping somebody, I like keeping that. So I've got 2 or 3 cheaper pair that I keep. What I'm also not showing you in this video is the more expensive stuff that I keep in my vehicle as an EDC. So you're not going to see my Ear Pro in here. You're not going to see my Eye Pro that I keep in my vehicle. So again, 3 or 4 pair of eyes and ears. I've got ones that fit the kids. I've got this older pair that I've had in my family forever. This was actually my grandfather's that I showed in another video, that when he was at the sheriff's office. And this right here is an electronic pair in case I need to give range commands or something like that. I usually have an assortment of some holsters here. I usually carry a blue gun with me, and again, I can use this for helping practice myself, maybe a shooting position, something like that. Or if I'm wanting to help train somebody or show somebody a technique, I have a safe blue gun that obviously is blue, and it's easy to see that with a dedicated holster to fit it. So carry a couple other extra holsters here. That was for my Glock. I think that's for my M&P 22 pistol. Then I carry this one here. I'm not a fan of nylon holsters at all. I've had this holster probably 30 years. The reason I keep this holster in there is because it is a generic holster. Because of the design, it fits a lot of different guns, and it is left-handed or right-handed, and it does have a thumb retention that is also reversible. So if I'm doing a little training, helping somebody that doesn't have an appropriate holster, or somebody might not have a holster at all, they can at least use this to secure the gun while we're talking, or whatever the case, in between learning how to shoot a certain thing that I'm trying to teach them. So got that. I also carry a couple generic gun belts, pistol belts. This one right here in particular, I think this is a Bianchi. It's very adjustable. It's just a nylon belt that you wear on the outside of your pants, loops, belt loops. And then I've got another one here that's generic also that fits a lot of different things. Normally I carry at least 2 or 3 extra slings. Again, I've got one dedicated that's on some of my guns that I keep in my car, but these are here just an assortment. I think there's a couple single points and a 2-point sling in this. Because somebody may have came to the range and didn't bring a sling, and that's kind of a pain if they need one. My range has a lot of gravel on it, so I usually keep a set of knee pads in mind, just in case I'm doing prone or kneeling shooting. I have something to protect my knees, because sometimes if it's hot enough, I may even wear shorts. Going back to the Eye and Ear Pro, this right here's my kids. There's a pair of Eye Pro in here, and then probably at least 6 or 8, 10 pairs of the foam earplugs that we keep in there, generic, that'll fit anybody. Chamber flags, usually keep a bag full of those just in case you might need them for something. Always handy to have, that way you know the thing's loaded or unloaded. Some type of squeeze bag or sock. I like to have this just in case I need it for shooting, on a bench or something, and I need to have that stability. I like having something like this with me. It's pretty easy. This here's an old military sock of mine that I think it's got Airsoft BBs in it, or P's or something. I've got that. I've got a cleaning pen for my optics. This right here is made by Loophole. Nice to have. Make sure you can keep your optics nice and clean in case you need to do that. I have a dedicated cleaning bag. This right here has everything that would clean from a 22 to a 12 gauge and everything in between, 308, 9mm, everything's in here that would do that. And I've got some other accoutrements, if you will, for doing other things, but bore snakes, whatever, got all that in there. For making repairs also, I have this Wheeler fat wrench. This right here is the torque wrench that a lot of people may have seen in other videos that people have done. It comes in handy if you're putting on optics, things like that, but it also is good for just general gun repair if you need to do that. This bag here is dedicated, nothing but parts. It has AR parts, 9mm parts. I mean, it's got gas tubes, it's got everything you can think of, extra batteries, anything that would be needed for a firearm that I typically use, like Glocks and things like that, Smith & Wesson or whatever. Usually I have the part in here to fix it. Nothing more frustrating going to the range, start shooting, and then your gun breaks. Got this here. This right here does not have the survival parts kit for Glock. I just have it in this container here. It's got a bunch of different cleaning stuff, just some generic stuff, things like that in here also. Also, I think I've already packed it up. No, I didn't. I usually keep at least a handful of markers. This one here is purple because I know I'm not going to have any targets that are purple, so I'm able to mark my targets with something like that. I usually keep this in there. This right here is one of the grip pods, and the reason I keep the grip pod in there because it is easily attached to a Picatinny rail, and it also is a bipod. So if I want to sight in something or whatever that doesn't have a bipod on it, and I don't want to shoot off a bag or whatever, or actually I use this a lot, believe it or not, with kids. Smaller kids have a tough time holding up heavy firearms, so I can slap this on the bottom of my AR or my 15-22 or something like that, and then now we can get a stable platform for them to enjoy themselves shooting and be a little more safer and a little more comfortable. So I always keep this in there so that I don't have to keep it attached to anything. I don't need any tools to take it on and off, and it's a bipod that's easy to use. I usually keep at least one 10-round magazine for an AR in my bag or in my box, and the reason is in case I need to sight in something or whatever, it's easier to shoot with a 10-round shorter mag than the longer mags. So I've got that. You also may want to keep at least one cable lock or a couple cable locks just in case you need that for any reason. One thing I carry to the range you guys may not have or want to carry, this is a Airsoft Glock 17 clone that I use a lot for training purposes, things like that, and I'm going to do another video about this. I did a video a long time ago talking about Airsoft, but I've used this so much trying to teach people how to shoot, and it works so well. And it also, if you are currently a shooter, this right here works excellent trying to help you very cheaply, and you know, can do it in your yard, you can do it in your basement, you can do it in your apartment, it doesn't matter, with this setup here. And these right here are excellent training tools. I've been using Airsoft for training for probably better part of 20 some years, and they are just a valuable training tool. Matter of fact, my son had never really shot a pistol, and about a week ago, my wife's trying to learn some new things. She's not very proficient with firearms. She doesn't really get into them like I am, but we're transitioning her over. And literally, my son and her and myself went out on my front porch with a couple of training steel targets that I made. I use that term loosely, but they are designed specifically for Airsoft. You couldn't shoot them with a real gun. It would go through the steel, but it's just a thin steel target, but it is set up similar to your standard metal targets you see on a general gun range. We went out there the other day, and my son was not hitting anything. After we learned the safety things and all that, went over that. First, he wasn't hitting anything. We went over some more stuff. By the end of the day, a couple hours later, he couldn't hardly miss. My wife, the same way. She started out, she didn't understand the grip real well, things like that. And towards the end of the day, when we were wrapping it up, I had the firearm just laying there like this. And I told her, I said, okay. I said, go ahead and load and make ready, and then go ahead and shoot the targets. And I've numbered the targets. So there's 2 targets, 1 and 2, and I told her I'll tell you which target to shoot at and how to shoot it. So I might say draw and shoot 1 and 2. So she draw and shoot 1 target, you know, 2 on 1 or 2 on, you know, 2 or whatever. And by the end of the day, when she had started wrapping everything up and was finishing up with that, she had a great thumbs forward grip. She was very safe with the firearm. She knew how to load it, unload it, things like that. So it was a very good progression. So she's very anxious now to get to the real range and do a little more shooting with that, with some real pistols. So, but anyway, like I said, you may not take one, but I think if you don't have one, you ought to consider one. Very valuable tool to have in your toolbox or your range box. I also carry the accoutrements or the supplies for the Airsoft BBs. Propane. This one actually, you're supposed to use green gas, but you can, if you got the right adapter, you can use propane, and you can do that. I normally have some extra little adapters here for different holsters in case I need to make arrangements with that. Also, one last thing, and we'll wrap up the video here. I usually have this box here, and it is a dedicated, if you see it says range ammo. Took my label maker and it says range ammo. Inside this box I usually keep all kinds of ammo that I know that I'll probably be shooting at the range, and I keep it in bags. So there's some 9mm, there's some 22, some 380, whatever, and I just bag it up and stick it in here. It's easy to get in and out, and I'll usually always take this box with me, and then I usually take a dedicated ammo box depending on kind of my purpose to go to the range. So in other words, if I'm going to go do a lot of shotgun shooting, I'm going to take another ammo box with dedicated 12 gauge in it. Same thing with my precision 308 rifle. If I know that I'm going to go today and I want to shoot my 308 a lot, I'm taking another ammo box that's dedicated, that's got my precision rifle ammo in it, or my AR with all of my mags and things like that. So I'll take 2 range boxes. Normally this one right here is a generic kind of a potpourri of ammo that I'll usually take, and then I'll always take a dedicated one for that specific firearm that I plan on shooting the most. So like say me and my son want to go to the 22 range, obviously I'd probably take more 22 than I have here. And I may could just even grab a brick of 22 because it's small and stick it in here and just take one. So it just depends. So my purpose of the video, guys, is keep your stuff organized, have everything you need. It'll make your day on the range much more enjoyable that you have everything and you can enjoy yourself and not worry about so much you forgot something, or you don't have this, or you can't do this because you don't have a holster, or you don't have something. So just kind of keep that in mind, and when you're designing your range box and getting it all together. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up. It's over in that section. If you would, share our content. It's over in this section. Also in that section, if you're not a subscriber, you can hit the subscribe button. Right beside of that, there's a bell. If you hit the bell, hit the subscribe and the bell, it'll actually notify you every time we post a video, and that will let you be able to watch what you want to watch as far as new content coming out. But anyway, guys, appreciate you tuning in today. If you have any questions, post those below. If you have any suggestions, maybe something you have that you carry to the range that maybe I didn't mention or whatever, be glad to hear that from you. If you got any comments or whatever or any questions, be sure to post that below. As always, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll bring another video shortly. Have a great day, guys.